KUHS, and I have America with me today also, who is a client coming from a client perspective today. So, which actually brings up a good point. So, what I wanted to speak about today specifically was like the differences in training methods, and then also to address something that happened to you online the other day that you just got done telling me about. So, tell me about it.
In one of our videos, we had a comment on YouTube saying, How can I take advice from someone that doesn't even look like they go to the gym? I'm like, ouch.
And so that was directed at you or at me? I can't remember.
I think it was me.
At
And I'm
you,
like,
okay. All right.
well, I'm the client. Like, I'm supposed to be the example, and you guys are supposed to see, I guess, my fitness journey here with Baltazar, right? And not with Baltazar and with Fuerza Elegante, because I train with you both. And I guess Fuerza Elegante is more like the nutrition aspect of it with the protein and stuff. But
interesting. But keep going. I'm now. Go ahead.
Now it's making sense.
It was backhanded compliment, but okay, keep going.
So, yeah, I was just like, oh well, maybe if these people actually watch the show. So we invite you to go watch all the episodes, not just one, to get a little bit more context, right? As to the whole purpose of this is to show a real journey in fitness, not, oh, I'm here giving expert advice, because I'm not.
So I think the reason why I had brought it up too, though, is it brings in a very interesting conversation to have, because actually last night America was in my women's class, and if you guys haven't had done a women's training or a group training in general, I highly recommend it for different reasons. My mindset around group training has completely changed over the last year versus in years past. When I was in martial arts, the majority of my training was done in group sessions. So like we would do 30-minute trainings together one-on-one, which was valuable, don't get me wrong. We were paying far less than what we should have for one-on-one training. Group training, on the other hand, like you could go 6 days a week to multiple classes. So the benefit of doing that is exponential. I can't even put a number on it, on how beneficial it is. But to speak to like the class last night, like the energy was really good, and especially as you guys started to gel together, because this group is still fairly new.
Yeah, we're new to each other too.
Yeah, and because it started off as two different women's groups that I had. Both of them had lost a client or a partner in there. So there was only two in each. So I figured, why don't I combine them all together and then offer more group trainings for them? America is the most recent addition to it. And last night, like they were, like all of you were still gathering, your momentum with each other. But by the end of the class, which I feel like tomorrow night when we do the next session, you guys are going to be picking up right where you left off. But to kind of get into two different things I want to speak about is like the difference in training methods that one trainer might have versus like, say, an old trainer that you might have had. And then also just like, what are the actual goals? Because like you got called fat or whatever online.
Yeah, whatever.
Unfortunately, yeah, I know people are just jerks. But to be honest with it too is like,
I'm going to interrupt you. I called myself fat on the internet.
Okay.
So if somebody else does it, I think I'm okay with it.
Sure. Okay. So with that being said, though, like when either yourself or someone else calls you fat, like that is actually the biggest misconception that people have when it comes to weight loss or when you start working out in the gym, is it's like, one, you do want to lose the weight. But two, it's not so much just weight in general that you want to lose. You want to lose body fat. And this is the mindset that I have a lot of people, both men and women. It takes years for them to get over it. Because again, we've spoken about it in the past before, is like the scale doesn't dictate on whether or not you're successful or not, but more so like, how are you fitting in your clothes? Do you have a pair of jeans that you used to wear a couple years back that you could fit in that you don't fit in today? And if you could fit in those jeans now and the scale didn't change, would you consider that a success? And ultimately, I would hope everyone will say, well, yes, because obviously I'm wearing older clothes that I still had that I wanted to wear again, or else I would have gotten rid of them if I didn't want to try and wear them again. So that's like a huge success right there. And what that means is you've changed your body composition, right? We've lost body fat and we've built muscle. If I'm weighing 160 regardless, but I make that 160 shrink and it fits better in that outfit, more than likely everything else is going to look better in it. You're either going to have bigger arms, bigger chest, bigger butt, bigger legs, something. You're going to have something that's going to make you look a whole lot better than what you were originally going to the gym for in the first place, with the mindset change of like, all I'm here for is just to lose the weight because I think that is what is going to be the best approach. And if that was the best approach, everyone would still be trying to do cardio as the primary way to lose weight until it didn't work anymore. And then you were just like a weaker, flabbier version of yourself. And so like, that's the whole thing between like lifting versus doing cardio, is I can sculpt my body to make it look the way that I want it to look versus just being a flabbier version of myself that looks good in clothing, but when I take my clothes off, I don't look nearly as good. And that's where people then be like, I got to do something different, right? So that's essentially what I wanted to get at with that. But again, like, as people watch you and as you stay consistent in your workouts, keyword being consistent, then you will start to have that transformation occur again for you. Do you have something you want to say?
No, I agree. Right. I just thought that was funny. I had to share that with you. And also, well, I guess after the break, I can tell you a little bit more if you have anything else, but after the break, I'll explain why the consistency and the struggle was there.
Okay.
So hopefully our audience, you there listening, you judging me that I'm fat.
Well, that's perfect. So so we'll go ahead and take our break now. And then as we come back for the second half, we can get into what I really wanted to talk about outside of just the aesthetic portion of it.
Greetings, everyone. We're glad that you joined us today. As you watch and learn, please remember that KUHS is an interactive platform, and we encourage you to engage at every level so that, number one, we know that you're appreciating the content that you currently enjoy, and number two, your feedback will help expand, grow, and improve our future programs. Again, thanks for being here.
Welcome back, everyone. This is KUHS, and I'm Baltazar Villanueva with your Midday Fitness update or show that we're doing here. So with that being said,
we don't know what we're doing. We're just here.
We're swinging it with what the name of it actually is, but I think we've pretty much settled on Midday Fitness. In any case, so I'm speaking with America, and I wanted to talk about the method of training that we do. So like, I tend to do phase training with my clients. So we won't just do something specifically building strength, or we won't do something specifically just building muscle, but we go through both. So we'll start one phase for 4 to 6 weeks doing one thing, 4 to 6 weeks of doing another, and then we'll do something novel that we haven't done yet. Maybe it's shorter rest times. Maybe it is a superset of like combining 2 exercises together with no rest. So like, there's different ways of building muscle, and the more that you can change it up over a certain period of time, not like something like P90X. When I was like in high school and all of that, it was all the rage to do a workout that changed every day, and you would do that for like 90 days straight. And that has its effects. It has good effects too until it stops working. And the ultimate way to do it is to do something called like a mesocycle, which is...
So what you're saying for us,
non-gym goers like that.
Yeah, the lingo and all that is, if you repeat the same exercise over and over and over, it loses its effects.
Yes, diminishing returns, right? So like, if I just squatted every day, I would certainly get strong. But if I wasn't changing things up, then I would only get to a certain place.
Well, I think our bodies, right? Our bodies are mind. We get accustomed to things.
Yeah, exactly. So in this instance, last night, America was in the class, and we were trying to figure out how much weight she could possibly lift for a sumo deadlift. And if you don't know what a sumo deadlift is, it works your glutes really well, so it helps you grow a bigger butt. But 2, it also makes your lower body just stronger in general. And so like, America first started off with like, say, 75 pounds, and then she went to 95 pounds. And before you know it, she was all the way up to like, I think like 125 or 135. You were up there really high. And then by the time we got to that set though, because our original goal was only do 5 sets of 5 reps, which puts you in a strength building mode versus a muscle building mode. She was fatigued by the time we got to the final set, but we had found out that she was already able to do 3 reps of, I think it was like something like 135 pounds. It was something really high. And for her, she was like, I just can't do it anymore. It's like, well, that's because you did like 15 your first set, and then you did 10, and then you did 10. Then she kept doing these really high rep ranges, which then caused her to fatigue out by the time we got there. So to kind of speak to what the goal changed in the middle of the workout, or at least in that first exercise. From there, you could lift quite a bit of weight, don't get me wrong. All the other women that were in the class were highly impressed with your strength in that way, but we weren't in the right mindset of what we wanted to do. And then the other thing that I tend to see you do all the time too is like, you're ready to go all the time. Like, you're going even before your rest time is up. And so for those of you who don't understand the value of rest, it goes far beyond just allowing your heart rate to drop back down, but it actually allows your energy systems to recharge, so that way you can lift more again. So for many years, just as a story of myself, I have been training for over 10 years in weightlifting, but it wasn't until like the last, in year 8 or year 9 that I actually figured out what I was doing wrong. And that was simply like doing the same thing week in, week out with no changes whatsoever. And for the longest time, men especially, like, we use the bench press as a marker of like strength. Like, oh, how much can you bench press? Which, by the way, is a stupid exercise to do. I'll just go ahead and admit that now. It's really dumb. In any case, I said that. In any case, though, I was only able to do like 185 pounds for 10 reps. And my form, by the way, was horrible. Like, I had, like, my hips would come up. If you were to do a how-to video on what not to do when it came to a bench press, just watch me for the first 8 years of my lifting career, and you'd be like, yeah, that sucked. But as I changed and I started to figure out what I was doing wrong, I instantly was able to go from 185 to 225 within a couple months of doing 4 to 6 reps, until I finally had to break that plateau too. But everything changed and I had really good form. So same thing with yours. Like, your form last night was really good in what you were doing, but it was like, we have to get out of that mindset of doing the same type of activity you might have been doing with your old trainer to, we are now doing different phases of training.
So rest is key. Rest is key. I get so antsy.
So yeah, I get that too. Everyone wants to get into the gym and they want to get in and out right away. Where, like, if you could just kind of give me an idea.
I don't think it's that though. For me, it's just it's not that I want to get in and out. It's just I just want to keep going.
You just want to keep going.
I just want to keep going.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to talk about this at a different time, but like circuit workouts versus like the type of training that I do, where you have rest periods in between. And when I work out in the mornings, like, I rarely sweat a whole lot. Like, there are times where I do sweat, but most of the time I'm not like dripping sweat. And that's another thing that you see people or like how they perceive a workout to be was successful or not is how sweaty I am by the end of it. And if you're doing strength training properly, you're not necessarily like sweating buckets when you're out there. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't. What sweat does indicate though is how hydrated your body is, and if your body's operating properly. Like, your body naturally sweats to cool itself back down. So, but like most of the time, like, I can track things on my watch with a heart strap, and I'll burn in a good leg workout anywhere from like 500 to 600 calories. But I'm not really sweating. My shirt might have a little bit in the front or a little bit in the back, but it's not like, oh damn, he just looks like he ran a marathon kind of thing. Like, no, not at all. And that's not the goal. But again, like, I'm building at the same time as I'm doing it, versus just like losing everything to a cardio workout. So that's where, like, you build more muscle when you take it from that approach or that perspective, versus just like trying to get through as much as you possibly can.
So patience is what I'm saying.
Patience, yeah. Like that, a good example I like to use, which is hell of annoying even to me, is like when you go to the gym and you see the guys sitting at the racks and they're texting, or they're sitting on the bench and they're texting. that's actually intentional versus them just being a douchebag. Because I go to the gym with clients sometimes and it's like, oh God, I wish this guy would move. I want to like get my client training and all. But what they're doing is they're taking a 3 to 5 minute rest so that way they can push that same amount of weight again. So especially like when you see guys doing several hundred pounds, or even women doing several hundred pounds of squatting or deadlifting at the gym, it's not because they are just wanting to take their sweet time and take a bunch of selfies of themselves, which is true too. But yet
both can exist at the same time.
Exactly. And what they're doing is they're allowing their energy system to recharge. So if you want to get hella strong, you need to take the approach of anywhere from like a 2 to 5 minute rest period in between your exercises. If you want to grow muscle, then you need to pull the weight back slightly, do more reps, and you can cut the rest time down a little bit. But even at that point, there is far more benefit to resting and recovering versus just trying to knock the workout in 30 minutes or less. If you only have 30 minutes or less, like that's a whole nother routine too that you can do, but you should honestly reach out to a trainer who can program that for you versus just aimlessly going into the gym and say, I'm going to do these 3 exercises that may not help each other out in any way, or maybe they're all working the same muscle and you just don't know it.
I agree.
Okay. So yeah, so that's hopefully that'll kind of give you guys a good idea. And again, half the battle is learning how to program or having a good program to follow when it comes to working out. So if you have questions on how to do that, honestly, reach out to a coach or a trainer and they can help you with that one. So otherwise, that's all I got for today.
Reach out to Baltazar.
Reach out to Baltazar. That's true. That'll help you out. Again, like in my story, like it took me 10 years to figure out what I was doing wrong. And so like now what I like to do is I like to help people so that they don't waste the same amount of time that I did trying to figure out how to do all of this stuff. So, and even if it's something that you can only invest a couple months into, like that 1, 2, 3 months of getting training from a coach will take you a lot further than you not having it at all and you still just trying to watch YouTube videos or, you know, cardio classes with weights and like how to actually do this properly.
Cool.
So
I also want to bring it back to the class setting.
Oh yeah.
In the sense of there was this gal, she's like, I can't do it. I can only do 3 reps. And we spotted each other and she was able to push it all the way to the goal.
You guys were making really good strides last night as training partners and stuff like that, and not even meeting each other. That was like the first time you guys met each other too.
That was the first time we actually talked
to each other. Yeah. So like there's benefits in the group training in that method, and it does a couple different things, honestly. One, that story I think is the most powerful, is that you guys were able to come together and like both knock out some really good workout or reps in that workout. The other thing though that comes from it too is like group, and it leads back to what I was just talking about. Like if you could only invest so much time or so much money into a personal trainer, because most of them are not cheap, then group training is an excellent way to save some money, because you're pulling, you know, funds together with other people, friends, family, whatever, a group of women who just want to get together and work out, and it lowers the cost of it from there, and you get to train more. So there's added benefit in that too, especially again, like honestly, like to speak of trainers that I know, group training can run anywhere from just a couple $100 a month per individual to, you know, $350 or so, just depending on how good the coach is and, you know, what you're getting from them. I felt last night that you guys, like once you knew what you were doing, like I was just there for support and you guys were crushing it on your own.
Cool. Well, come join us.
Yep. Yeah, the women's group right now is Thursdays at 6:30, Saturdays at noon, and then there's a Monday portion of it that's actually going to be kickboxing. So there's your cardio right there. And it's not like the kickboxing that you do to music and you're just bouncing around the whole time. It's like actually learning how to kickbox.
Baltazar wants me to beat him up.
I didn't say that. Abusive. No, just kidding. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate your time. Until next time, have a good one.
Thank you.